What's up, my friend? Welcome to the Myprotein channel. Today, I'm going to teach you how to talk about your mental health. But before we get started, let me introduce myself. I'm Maxwell Danny. I'm an exercise physiologist, and I love helping people get happier and healthier. If you want to learn more about me, click the link in the description to get directed to my social media. In my past few videos, I've talked about mental health because I love helping people in this area through different modalities, but also because October of 2020 is Myprotein's Mental Health Awareness Month. And in case you missed it, make sure you click the link right there to see my previous video about meditation for beginners. But today is all about getting comfortable with the uncomfortable and understanding how we can approach it so we can live better lives. This year, 2020, has been one of the weirdest, craziest, most stressful years in recent memory. But just because it seems like it's never going to end, seems like it's just getting worse and worse, doesn't mean that it really is. Doesn't mean that we can't get a hold of our lives, a hold of our circumstances, and create a better trajectory for us. But even with that being said, it's still easier said than done. It is really difficult, and I can truly empathize because a lot of us are going through the same thing, going through the same issues, and dealing with the same pains. Now, I need to make a disclaimer. I am not a mental health professional. So everything that I give you in this video, all this information, is just a resource for how to help yourself and how to really engage in this whole conversation that most people aren't talking about. And it is improving your mental health and talking about the issues and the feelings that you're having right now. But I do see this as a public health issue. As a recent Master of Public Health graduate, I see the data and I recognize that there is a serious issue going on in our country right now. Mental health issues, which were already incredibly apparent before COVID even started, before the pandemic and the lockdowns, have now been exacerbated over the past few months because of the situations that our country and our world have been thrown into. So when I throw up this data right here from the Kaiser Family Foundation showing you how this has increased over the past several months, I want you to realize that you're not alone in this, that everyone is going through similar situations and similar feelings and thought patterns, and that we need to address this. We need to address it now, and we need to look into solutions to help curb this and help prevent further issues down the road. Okay, so all public health data and progressive agenda for these issues aside, let's talk about some solutions for you. How can you talk about your mental health with someone? And I've really outlined this in several steps that I've went through and have helped me, and I see it as an effective practice from other reputable sources. So let's start that right now. The first thing that I recommend you do is to write a letter to yourself or to one of your loved ones and keep it to yourself. Journaling, physically writing pen to the paper, is an incredibly effective way for us to get tabs on our emotions, for us to express ourselves, and for us to really think about how we're feeling and really express it in a physical format. In fact, the University of Rochester Medical Center has found that journaling is incredibly effective at reducing stress, managing anxiety, and coping with depression. It can help you prioritize the problems or the fears that you're dealing with. It can help you track day by day the symptoms that you're having and how your mood is fluctuating on a day-by-day basis. And it can also help you get really intimate with your emotions in general and help you get an opportunity to not only decrease the negative self-talk that you're having, but increase the positive self-talk so you can work through it yourself. So writing a letter to yourself, to someone else, journaling it, keeping it close to you and private is a great way for you to at least start to get a hold of what's going on in your head. The second point is to listen to other people's stories of their mental health issues. when we hear someone else's story, we're able to empathize with it and we're able to make connections so that we truly don't feel like we're alone. We human beings are incredibly social by nature, so when we hear someone else's story, we're able to feel more secure in how we are feeling and give us an opportunity to move forward and figure out better solutions for ourselves. The third point I have is that once you've journaled everything and you've listened to other people's stories, then you should really reach out to one person whom you feel the closest to and who you know will actually listen to you. For me, I talked to my mom first about it. She was always the first one I went to, even though it was really difficult for me to understand my own emotions first and foremost, but also just to come clean with it because I was going through some really difficult times. So whenever you're reaching out to this one person, make sure that you set the intention with them that you want guidance and that you're coming to them in this semi-vulnerable state because you trust them and you want to have this relationship with them because you know that they're able to help you out with the issues that you're dealing with. Then once you've gotten past that step, I highly recommend for my fourth point that you start changing your habits and you change your diet. You will be amazed at the difference that you see when you start reinventing your habits and you start eating healthier. Because often it's about what we do and what we consume that really changes not only how we look, but how we feel and how our brain operates. So look at my previous videos. We've talked about this, the kinds of vitamins and minerals that will help you out with your anxiety, potentially, the kind of habits that will help you out, like meditation. Not only that, but reading or taking time for yourself in the day, just reflect, to journal, to do the things that you love the most, to separate yourself from any kind of issue that you're really dealing with. And one really important way to start bringing all of this together is to become more intentional about the media that you consume. And media is a broad term. It can mean the news, movies, TV shows, social media, videos on YouTube, articles that you see online, anything that has to do with your attention span. You need to start becoming more aware of what you're doing with that and start to set limits. Because more often than not, the things that we see online, the things that we see in the paper and on TV are really messing with our brain chemistry and are really causing us to feel a certain way without us even really knowing. So set a limit on these things, find the things that affect you positively and do more of those. And once you start to experiment with some of these things, it'll help you really bring everything together. But this is my last point. Even after you started journaling, if you started listening to other people's stories, if you talked to someone, and if you started to change your habits and your diets, even after all of this, you start to still feel cognitive issues, physical issues, if you're restless, if you're worried, even if there's something a little bit more severe than all of that, please don't feel afraid to reach out for professional help. Seeing a professional is going to help you give a new perspective on what you're dealing with. Something that you aren't going to be able to discover and something that I'm not going to be able to discover either. And even if it's really difficult right now to get an appointment with someone, with a professional, there's telehealth options out there as well. Talkspace and BetterHelp are two pretty prominent telehealth applications or websites that you can use today in order to get in contact with a mental health professional to help you out with these issues. Because it is pretty difficult to find help in your area for most people, because not only because of the COVID restrictions, but also because there's so few of them compared to the amount of people that need the help. So looking out for resources like this is going to help just bring the cherry on top and help you bring everything together. But there are also free national helpline numbers that you can call in order to get some information and get you in contact with the right people for both English and Spanish speaking individuals. And you can find those numbers in the description as well as the websites that lead to those areas and those topics. But we need to understand that there is no shame in talking about your mental health issues. The old way of thinking of just keeping things bottled up inside and dealing with it like a tough individual not only does yourself a disservice, but it does your family disservice, your friends, your coworkers, your neighbors, and society as a whole. So when we can look at the data and we can look at the resources that we have and understand that we are not alone in this fight, then we can not only create a better future for ourselves, but a better future for the people all around us, and hopefully a better future for all. So if you like the video, make sure you do so. Subscribe to the Myprotein YouTube channel. And of course, like I always say, if you got something out of this, make sure you share it with someone you love so you can help them out as well. I'm Max, signing off, reminding you to fuel your ambition.